8 titles. But past achievements guarantee nothing. We start again from zero.
Hello and welcome to the official launch of the Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 W13 E-Performance, live from the home of British motorsport, Silverstone. Today we're welcoming in a new era of Mercedes-AMG and Formula One. Of course, that means we're going to be revealing the new car, but we're also going to be talking about our future in every sense.
That's right. We're going to be taking a look at the new season. We're going to be finding out more about the new driver lineup. And we're going to be meeting up-and-coming Mercedes-AMG junior drivers. And then we'll take a good look at the W13, which is waiting for us just over there.
But first, I think it's time to talk to our team principal, Toto Wolff. Hello, Toto. Great to see you again. I feel like it's been a lifetime, about 10 weeks, actually, since Abu Dhabi, which does seem a long time ago. But have you had the chance to reflect and savour what was a magnificent 8th Constructors title?
Yeah, good to see you again. And hi, everybody. Good morning. It's a bit short, the break these days. You know, 2 months, there's no such thing as really coming back to full energy. But that's okay. We're looking forward to race. It's what we love to do. And your question, a championship, I mean, it feels a little bit surreal that as a team we were able to achieve that 8 times in a row. Obviously, there was this shadow with the driver championship, with Lewis's championship, that the Abu Dhabi situation. But let's look into the future. And definitely we want to continue where we started, but we have no sense of entitlement.
Well, helping you look towards the future, it was a big day yesterday with the FIA president announcing a restructure and some changes to the race refereeing. What's your response to that?
I think it's very encouraging to see that action has been taken. There's a much more robust structure now and support structure for the racing director. The FIA has stated that there will be a virtual race control room, state-of-the-art technology. And now we shall be going. The new guys are going to be in place for the Barcelona test, and I think the right steps.
As you've touched upon, it is a new era for the sport. You've said we start again from zero. It kind of gave me goosebumps, actually. Tell me about the mindset of the team and the challenges that lie ahead. And, you know, are you ready for this?
Yes, so the mindset of the team has always been the same over the last few years, is that the point count goes back to zero. There is nothing that from the previous years that will make you win the current championship. No credits to be taken, but also no sense of entitlement. Like every year we are skeptical whether we've done a good enough job, and that's the right mentality.
Well, Toto, you said it earlier. Let's talk about the future, and let's talk about the thing that we're all here to see today, the W13. Today is obviously an incredibly important day, as it's the first day where everyone's hard work on the car finally comes together. So can you tell us how much of a challenge it's been to get this far?
Yes, we saw the car before, and for me, the 2 best moments every year is when you fire up for the first time, which happened very early with us in December, and then the second moment is when the car is actually being put together. And I was in race base the last few days looking at this unbelievable machine, and now seeing it completely with its bodywork on is very exciting. But
you're teasing the audience there because they can't see it yet.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, but I hope it's amazing when we drive it in an hour.
Absolutely. Well, Lewis Hamilton is joining Mercedes-AMG for the 10th time this season, and you guys have had a lot of success together. Can you tell us, you know, what role he plays in your success and what he brings to your team?
We were thrown into this project pretty much at the same time in 2013, and normally you would say about the driver, they come and they drive and they go. But with Lewis, he's become an integral part of the team. 10 years is quite an amazing time. And there's one thing one situation that describes it all. Last year, it looked like we have lost the driver championship when Lewis was disqualified for the sprint race in Brazil. And Lewis came into the engineering room and said to us, that's now a long shot to win the driver championship. let's at least win the team championship for us. And he's a team player, like I said before, a super important part for us.
Absolutely. Well, the driver lineup has changed, the first time since 2017, welcoming George Russell in, but I feel like, you know, it's home from home for him. He's been part of the family for a very long time, but how is he adapting to being fully immersed in the team?
It's funny because I've seen George just before in a white Mercedes shirt, and it's not new because I've seen him running around with that T-shirt for a long time. He's been our reserve and been with the team since so many years. He's driven the car already in Bahrain a few years ago or a couple of years ago, and now fully fledged racing driver, and I'm personally very excited to see him.
High expectations for him?
Yeah, always. I think there is not many that get to drive a Mercedes works car, and now he's the next generation, and yeah, I'm happy that the two of them are just great.
Great stuff. OK, well, I think we're all very excited to see this new Mercedes-AMG lineup. So it's probably time to welcome in the drivers, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Well, welcome both. Great to see you. And how are you feeling, Lewis, about this new era of Formula One?
Well, thank you for the warm welcome. It's good to see everyone. Yeah, I'm excited. I think everyone's excited to see the car that they showed us, I think, in Bahrain for the first, I think it was Abu Dhabi, I think, when Ross Brawn took us into the office and showed us all the drivers, the future of the sport and the effects that it hopefully should have on racing. And then I think it was at Silverstone last year where they actually showed us the full model, to then just seeing the incredible hard work in the background with all the engineers and mechanics back at the factory designing and putting this thing together to finally see it. We're going to be out in an hour, so it's an exciting time.
Well, Lewis, as we mentioned earlier, this is now your 10th season with Mercedes-AMG, and you've enjoyed plenty of success together, probably more than you could have imagined, and you're now the most successful driver in F1 history. So with that in mind, what goals are you setting for 2022?
I think it's very surreal to think that it's 10 years. I come to the factory, and I was just saying earlier that seeing George have his seat fit, whilst he's been in and around, and so it feels very natural, him being here. Seeing the seat fit he was having was very, very reminiscent of when I had my first seat fit in 2013, and just remembering how exciting that was and what a privilege it was to be a part of the Silver Arrows. And the journey that we've been on has been absolutely phenomenal. So going into this year, I haven't really set any goals initially. I think naturally every single individual within this team has worked towards the ultimate goal of winning the World Championship. And again, raising the bar and doing something that no one else has ever done before. We've done 8. Now we've got to move on to the next one.
Ooh, I love it. Fighting talk. It's amazing, though, isn't it? It's a blank canvas. We talk about this transition of you settling into the team. It's obviously your 4th season in Formula One. Knowing everyone as well as you do, has that kind of helped with the nerves of this big build-up to finally driving the car?
It certainly makes everything easier because there's so many faces that I've known over the past 6 or 7 years now, and when we started working together, we're straight into business. Obviously, the relationships are always built over time, but I already knew so many of the people, and obviously having worked with Lewis, or seeing Lewis work when I was a junior driver and sitting in the engineering briefings, that will also feel quite natural to go in there, being teammates with him, racing alongside him. And I think it's going to be a really exciting season for all of us and for Formula One generally, because there's so much change, there's so much to learn, there's going to be so much development over the course of this season. We really need to be on top of our game as drivers to help give the feedback to the team and working as one to really push the car forward, because I think from the first race to the last race of the season, there'll probably be some drastic changes we see on the cars.
Yeah, a huge amount of development, I'm sure. You say natural to be alongside him. It must also be a bit surreal. The greatest driver of all time, arguably, definitely. How do you respond to that challenge and also opportunity?
It's definitely surreal, and I mean, I think we've all seen the photo of Lewis and I when I was
so cute.
10 years old. I think we have both changed quite a lot since then, and it's incredible to see. Obviously, I was a young kid aspiring to reach Formula One, and Lewis was obviously world champion at the time. And Lewis was a superhero to me. You see these incredible people, and you don't think they're human. And obviously now, growing up, having the opportunity to race alongside Lewis is a real privilege for me, because I've got such a great opportunity to learn and see how the best does it.
Well, Toto, having heard all of that, as the team principal, what are your hopes for this new driver lineup of George and Lewis?
Well, definitely we saw that both of them improved since the photo was taken.
You've got better with age, like fine wine.
I mean, Lewis, okay, but definitely George.
We've got better since then. I don't know what about you.
Oh, listen. That is not how to talk to the new boss. Can I just say? A little lesson in diplomacy. Always flatter the boss.
Yeah, I know.
I admit that's one point for you.
Yeah.
I shall pay you back today. What are my hopes? The hopes are, first of all, that we have a competitive car. It's not a given with the new regulations. People are saying, are we going to win another title? And I think we don't know whether we're even in the hunt for another title. What I know is that this team has always been able, even if circumstances were difficult, like the beginning of last year, to just through grit dig ourselves out of disadvantageous situation. And wherever that car is, I'm sure that we will be doing everything to be as competitive as we are. So my hope is that the car goes fast, and that Lewis and George are happy with how it drives, and then that would be a good starting point.
Now, Lewis, we've known for some time that George would be sitting here, but we can't ignore the fact that we weren't sure whether you would be. Obviously, everything that happened in Abu Dhabi, and then you were rightly very private after that. Yesterday, big FIA restructure and big changes coming through. How do you feel, and how have you managed to sort of refocus, given everything that's gone on?
Well, I never ever said that was going to stop.
Yeah, but you scared us all, let's be honest.
I love doing what I do, and it is such a privilege working with this large group of people when you really feel like you're part of a family and part of a team and you're working towards that common goal. There's no feeling quite like it. But yeah, I mean, I needed to, it was obviously a difficult time for me, and it was a time where I really needed to take a step back, focus on being present. So I had my family all around me and creating great moments. And that eventually got to a point where I decided I was going to be attacking again, coming into another season and working with Toto and George. It is exciting seeing George come in and bring his energy. I can already feel that throughout the team, and I think it's going to be an exciting season.
Does that change you then, having a different driver alongside you?
It doesn't change me. Obviously, I think it's always a positive when you have new blood, new energy. George has had an amazing career so far in not only just getting to Formula 1, but what he's done within Formula 1. And I think it's going to be exciting to see him grow and work with him. And I've had him sitting behind me before at the desk when we're working away, getting the setup on the race weekends. Now I'll be working naturally opposite from him, but collaborating with him, hopefully steering the car in the same direction. So, I'm excited for that.
Good stuff.
Well, while we're talking about the Mercedes family, both you, Lewis, and George have had the support of Mercedes for a very long time, since the early stages in your careers. For you, Lewis, it was with the McLaren Mercedes program. And George, you've been a part of the Young Driver program since 2017. And we've got 6 of the current Mercedes MG juniors with us here today. We're going to get to chat to the stars of the future in a second. But Toto, we know that this is an important project for you. So can you tell us a little bit more about what the junior program is all about?
Yeah, looking at these guys is amazing, because my first memory of the Mercedes Works team was actually the juniors. It started or restarted with 3 juniors back in the day. Michael Schumacher was the let's say, the one ahead, and it was Karl Wendlinger and a guy called Fritz Kreuzbeutner. And I remember there was a photo shoot. I don't know if you remember, they were in leather jackets with the Le Mans car, with the famous Mercedes Sauber Le Mans car. And I was a young kid, and I thought, this is really cool that there is young drivers in the Mercedes squad. And obviously, Michael, we don't need to talk about him. He made an unbelievable career. And now seeing these guys sit here with all the team kit, each embarking on their new season, whether it's from go-kart, F4 up to F2. It's great, and we shall see how they develop over the next years. And I will be following each of them and the results and the timesheets.
So will we. Well, should we meet them then? I think we should. Okay, this morning we are delighted to have with us Luna Fluxa, Yang Kui, Alex Powell, Daniel Ginchard, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Fred Vesti. Great to see you all. It's fantastic to have you all here. Well, almost everyone. Unfortunately, Paul Aaron, one of the junior drivers, couldn't join us today as he's got a race meet this weekend, but we are looking forward to seeing his career grow over the next season. And best of luck this weekend, Paul. So I think we are going to ask you a few questions, see how you cope with a bit of media pressure. I know they are supremely confident and lovely. I don't want to say kids because you're way older than that, and very mature. But Luna, you've just joined the team. How are you? How are you feeling? How excited are you to be part of this programme?
Well, yeah, obviously I feel really excited. I'm proud and happy to be joining Mercedes Formula One Junior programme. I can't wait to start this journey.
How old are you?
11 years old.
Oh, so gorgeous. Brilliant. Good luck. We're behind you every step of the way. Yang Pu, just tell us what you're most excited about this year.
So I've learned a lot from last year, and starting a new season this year, I'll do my best and try to achieve what I want this year.
Absolutely will. Now, Kimi, this is... oh, no, you've got a couple of questions, haven't you?
So I'm going to come to Alex next. Alex, I heard that you've got a really cool nickname, the Jamaican Sensation.
Yes.
Can you tell us how you got that name?
Yeah, so in 2017, in my first big European event, I was able to get onto the podium. And to be on the podium in an event that size, especially being from the Caribbean, from Jamaica, it was something extremely special. And the commentator said the nickname, the Jamaican Sensation, and since that point, it's stuck with me all the way up until today.
Fantastic.
It's a good name, though.
I know, it's a good name. I need to get a better nickname. Well, Daniel, I'll come to you next. You've only just joined the Mercedes-AMG Junior program, so that's very exciting news. Can you tell us how you're preparing for your F4 season?
Well, I've been working very closely with my Formula 4 team, Argenti Motorsport, and it's been a successful winter so far. You know, the British weather isn't always fantastic, but it's been good so far. I've been doing a lot of simulator work, a lot of fitness training to prepare myself as best as I can for the transition from karts to cars.
Brilliant stuff. And listen, we've got a Kimi back in motorsport. Kimi, how are you?
Good,
and
good,
how are you feeling about this? Is a big season for you, first full one in cars. Tell us what you're most looking forward to.
I'm looking forward, hopefully, to win the championship and learn as much as I can. I know I'm in a great position, and I know that I have a big opportunity ahead of me. So, yeah, I'm ready to give my best, and we'll see what we can achieve.
You're already more talkative than the other Kimi. Fred, just tell us about your goals for this season. What targets have you got?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be sitting here if I wasn't going for the win. It's very important to me, and together with my team, ART, we're going to absolutely push for that. To understand the new F2 car, for me it's brand new, and the new tyres will be very important.
Fantastic.
So I'm pushing.
Have you had any media training? Because you're all unbelievably confident. It's great, isn't it?
Fantastic. I
Really
mean,
good.
the ambition as well. I love it.
Yeah, fighting talk. Good.
Oh, well, sorry. Lewis, George, you guys obviously know exactly what these guys are feeling because you've been in the program. So can you maybe tell us some of the experiences you went through and what you really took out of the program?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, it's amazing to see these youngsters, the future. They're the future stars of our sport. And it's so important to be investing in the future. I think I'm really a testament to that. Obviously, I was signed when I was 13, so I was very much like one of you. And look where I am today. So, but discovering new talent, giving them the opportunity and the platform to learn and advance in the right way so that when they hopefully do make it to the top, they have the expertise to be able to cope with the pressure. And it's amazing that they're already answering questions from YouTube.
Honestly.
It's not easy, just so you know. And I struggle at this age, so I think they've done an amazing job.
Absolutely. George?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I joined when I was 17 years old to the Mercedes programme, and I think there is an element of pressure that you feel being part of such a successful Formula One team, but you're here because the team believe in you, and you don't need to put any additional pressure onto yourselves. Do your thing with guys around you. And I had Toto, Gwen, and James, who are really supportive and often they'll be very hard and push you in a certain direction, but they do that for a reason, and they know what they're doing. So trust the system. It may be difficult at times, but just keep working hard, and you've got a great opportunity.
Nothing like a bit of tough love. You know what we should do, actually, is recreate photo with these guys, with you, that you had together, and then maybe in 10 years' time, we'll be saying the same thing. OK, we're going to have a roles reversal now, because you guys are going to ask these guys some questions. So, first up, Alex to Lewis.
Lewis, I come from the Caribbean, and that's where I started my go-karting career. In my limited capacity, I try to encourage other karters from the Caribbean to achieve whatever their goal is. But with your experience as a 7-time world champion, what advice would you give to them?
I think, firstly, I commend you on that. And I think it's really just about believing in yourself. If you have a goal, if you have an ambition, it's never losing sight of that and staying focused. Each and every single one of you has a unique ability, and I can see already the drive in all of your eyes, which really connects us, because we've all had that since very young. And I think really, just as I said, just never give up on your dream, never give up on your goal. It takes hard work and dedication, so that, focus and give it absolutely everything. And naturally, I think the most important thing is education. Make sure you work hard at school, because that is the foundation to enable us to do what we do in the cars we have today.
They don't really want to hear that bit. They want to say, no, skip school and just be a racing driver. Fred, your question to George.
Yeah, so George, you came through the Mercedes-AMG Junior program, and what would your advice to us currently in the program?
Similar to what Lewis said, just work hard. It's as simple as that, and I think often people overthink it. Be nice, work hard, do what you need to do, whether that's in the gym or working with your engineers, and prepare yourself as best as possible when you get to the race weekend, because when you sit in that race car or the go-kart, you want to feel as prepared as possible. And I know when I've prepared myself as best as possible, because I jump in the car and I feel relaxed, because I feel like there was nothing more I could have done. But sometimes when I haven't prepared as well as I could have, you're a bit tentative, you're a bit nervous, you think, actually, I could have done more. So go out there, work hard, put everything into it, and it's as simple as that.
There's one other bit of advice. Always be really nice to those asking you questions. Goes with that. These two are great at it. Kimmy, your question for Toto.
So, Toto, what are the challenges you face managing such a strong team, and what qualities do you think make a great leader?
That strong team or that strong team? I think that running a company or a sports team, you always want to have the best people. And I think we have such a tremendous team in Brixworth and in Brackley. It's more than 2,000 people, and they are all the best and superheroes. And then having George and Lewis in the car, I couldn't wish for a better lineup. These two are not only fantastic racing drivers, one at the very beginning of his Formula One career, and Lewis, I wouldn't say at the end, because you have still, yes, like me, like George, I'm going. You ain't going.
Lewis is still improving, so I don't know when Lewis is...
He's also still improving.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know when...
Lewis is the best that has ever been, and we've seen him, how an unbelievable level he's able to compete on in the last season, and for me it's a privilege. I think I will be looking back one day and sharing the moment that I was part of the Mercedes history of carrying the baton with great drivers, the ones that have developed all the way from the junior program into the Mercedes works car, and then obviously pinch myself every day to be working the greatest ever. And looking at these kids, I hope that, I shall be getting uglier over the next 5 or 10 years, as George said. But you're getting better, and maybe one day you will be sitting here next to me, or the ones who are going to take over from me in a proper Formula One car or proper Mercedes works car.
Yeah, here's to that.
Well, thank you guys so much for your brilliant questions, and I wish you the best of luck. Now, Lewis, I know how important it is for there to be more inclusion in our sport. You touched on it earlier with regards to giving drivers a platform. So how important do you think junior programs are for this?
I think it's firstly, we're seeing diversity just here, It's amazing to see that the sport is now opening up. We've not really seen, apart from perhaps Susie, we've not really seen many young girls come through. So we need to make sure that we are providing a pathway for that. But it's on a much, much bigger scale. The work that we're doing with Ignite, Mercedes, and Mission 44, really working on getting kids into STEM subjects, working with Formula One and with Stefano to really make sure that we're including all the teams and taking them on the journey to making this place more representative of or look like more like the outside world is key. And this is just one of those key pieces to the puzzle.
Absolutely. And when you hear him talking, and he's been doing it for a number of years now, Lewis is such a trailblazer to that extent. And I think we'll look back and see this as a genuine watershed moment in the sports history. When you look at the guys in front of you here and you see the future of the sport, can you tell us a bit more about what you're doing to improve the sport sort of behind the scenes, and tell us how you're looking to make the sport better from that perspective?
I think what Lewis has managed to achieve is that he's not like many or most others, one-trick pony, driving the car and that's it. But there is so much more dimension to Lewis's life. And I think the most important, and his driving provides him with the platform, is the fight against injustice, more diversity and inclusion. And that's so important because we, in our little microcosmos, in an 99.9% white, middle-aged manager world, it's something that we really need to utilize to change. And we are trying that as a team. We have set ourselves high levels that we want to achieve. We want to hire at least 25% of all new people to join the team from a minority background, underprivileged background. And we are on a good path. We were presented the numbers yesterday. We've almost doubled the percentage. But Formula One is the pinnacle, such as the junior program. It is not about hiring to meet a certain quota. This is not what we're doing, but just really helping from the grassroots in motorsport, from go-karting, and also in the school, bringing kids up, making them look at Formula One as an achievable goal, girls and boys, and also from an underprivileged backgrounds. And we're having a fantastic cooperation with the Mulberry Trust of Schools, and we're seeing, kids now getting excited about working in F1.
Yeah, it's amazing. Wonderful work. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. It's brilliant. And it's been so lovely to have what genuinely feels like generations of the Mercedes-AMG family here today and to share this with you all. But now, it is the moment we have all been waiting for. It's time to reveal the Mercedes-AMG F1 W13 e-Performance.
We start again from zero.
There she is, in all her glory. Absolutely magnificent. So this must be a big moment for you both, but coming to you first, George, how does it feel to see the car in the flesh?
It feels incredible. Obviously, both Lewis and I have driven so many laps in the simulator of this. We've seen all the drawings, we've had so many meetings and presentations about it, but suddenly seeing it all come together, seeing all of the men and women who have put so much hard work and grit into making this and coming together here, I think it looks incredible. And I think, you know, the silver back, we've had an incredible livery with the black over the past couple of years, but the silver back on track, I think, is going to look incredible.
Really, really does. Now, you've been part of many a shakedown over the years, Lewis, but does it feel just as exciting as ever?
It does. I mean, it just takes you back to being a kid. I think it's always exciting watching. I mean, with this new era of car, we've never seen such a drastic change, right? So it's such a huge change in so many ways that it's just been really interesting seeing the designers and everyone coming together to find the best ways of creating a masterpiece. And we have no idea how it's going to handle. We have driven laps on the simulator, but making sure that we get the right correlation. That's why I think George is out first today. I think I'll be out after him. And,
You've timed that quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather is insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Brings a whole new meaning to the word shakedown, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, Lewis, you just said it there. The regulation changes this time around are huge, and they've been put off by a year due to COVID. So fans are incredibly excited to see this car, but they also hope that it's going to bring closer racing and more overtaking. So from the driver's perspective, do you think that's what it's done?
I will have no idea until we drive it, but...
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that everyone and all us drivers have always wanted, is closer wheel-to-wheel racing. You see more of that, obviously, in the lower ranks when you get down to go-karts, but as you get up and further into, obviously, the pinnacle of the sport, it's harder and harder to follow. So I really, really do hope that this delivers what they say it's going to deliver. But again, this is just the first step. I'm sure it will evolve through the year. But... yeah, it's probably one of the most exciting times, probably like my first year, seeing a new car that I've never driven. It feels like a first again.
Absolutely. Well, talking about evolution and, you know, the competitive spirit, does the competitor in you make you curious to see the other car launches and see how the other teams have interpreted the rules?
Definitely, because, I mean, I've been going to the wind tunnel over time and just watching and seeing the thing evolve. And... that's what's one of the most exciting things about our sport, is we have no idea what the other teams are doing. We have no idea, once we put this thing on track, how it's going to interact with the road. And we don't know what the others are going to bring. And there could be some surprises. There's going to be an interest. There'll probably be different steps between week 1 and week 2 of testing. So, yeah, I guess our job is just to focus on our job and our task, which is getting on top of this and really trying to dial in and understand it so we can hit the ground running.
Absolutely. Now, George, new season, new team, new car. So where do you even begin to start to put together your job list, and where do you set your priorities?
I think you have to go in with an open mind. I think it's almost important not to set too many targets or too many goals, because we don't know what this is going to offer. And you can't go in with too many preconceived ideas. And we've got so much change. It's the biggest change we've ever seen with the cars, but then we have the tyres as well, and how that's going to work together. Obviously, with myself working with a new team, with a new set of engineers, we just have to keep an open mind and be dynamic to the situation. And as we said before, I'm sure there's going to be so much change, so much development across the course of the year. And I think that's where we really want to focus on, because we know there will be drastic improvements, we hope improvements, as the season progresses, and that's where we need to make sure we're on the right side of that.
Yeah, it really keeps you on your toes, doesn't it? We touched on it already, Lewis, but we know just the sheer amount of hard work that's gone in, the busiest winter ever, I'm sure. Can we just have a word from you both on the team effort that's gone into producing this?
Well, with all due respect, you won't know, because there's over 2,000 people who worked the craziest hours to put these things together. I mean, this huge floor that we have this year, I mean, I was just told of the amount of hours it takes to put this floor together would blow your mind. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours just into building a floor. So incredibly proud of everyone, as always, just to see everyone so focused year on year. It's, you know, we've just done something no one's ever done, and winning an 8th world title, constructors title. And to see them so hungry and driven and focused and taking all their experience and the emotion of the end of the year and putting it into this year's car is inspiring. It's empowering, and I'm looking forward to getting out.
I'm sure you are itching to get out on it as well, George, but just tell us your appreciation for the team as well.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. You really do see it, and even after I've had a long day in the simulator and you think you'll be one of the last ones there, you walk out and it's all dark and you still see everybody sat in their offices because this is their car, this is their engine, and they believe in it, and they really want to do everything they can to see it succeed, and that is just so inspiring for me as a racing driver, and that puts the pressure on us to go out there and perform, because these guys are there working day and night to deliver a beast, and as I said, it's truly inspiring, and it's down to us to put it on the track today, see how it feels. I don't think Silverstone in this storm is going to be the most representative, but obviously we have Barcelona next week, and the race is just around the corner.
Come on then, be honest. Are you like the new boy where you try and stay really late to earn the brownie points? I'm the last to leave. Turn the lights out as I go.
I can try, but I won't be, because there's always somebody later. But no, I think it's everybody's willing. Nobody's forced to do it, but they are doing what is necessary to try and have that advantage and that upper edge on our competition. And as I said, that's just absolutely incredible to see. And as Lewis stated, they've won 8 titles in a row. Nobody has ever done that before. But the motivation to go out and do it again and achieve even more success is incredible, how they can maintain this level of workload and pressure and still deliver. Fingers crossed, but I believe we have a good car underneath us.
Great. George, Lewis, thank you both so very much. We cannot wait to see this out on track. Best of luck for the season.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
OK, now we've heard from the drivers. Now it's time to find out more about from the people leading the teams who've created this incredible car and power unit. So please welcome Technical Director Mike Elliott and Managing Director of Mercedes HPP, Hal Thomas. How are you both? Well, thank you for joining us. They deserve a bigger round of applause than that. Come on. They've worked very hard. I tell you what, you don't nearly look tired enough, do they? I thought they'd look, aged at least 10 years.
Definitely feel it.
And you've still got a full head of hair. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well, Mike, the car looks incredibly fierce, but we're desperate to know more about it. So can you tell us some of the key features that we can see here that have had to change for this season?
I think, to be honest, like most Formula One cars, the interesting bits are under the skin. We've had a massive regulation change for this year in aerodynamics particularly, and that's changed the complete shape of the car. And in order to deliver this sort of shape, it's a huge amount of work. Pretty much everything has to change, everything from the front of the car to the back. I think pretty much only the steering wheel is carryover. And to be able to get the shapes that we want in aerodynamics, we've had to package everything as tightly as we can. We've had to work really closely with Hal's guys to be able to get the sort of tightness we've got in the bodywork you can see in front of you. So the car will continue to evolve, but I think the real work is what's under the skin.
Yeah, no wasted space. Now, obviously, there's parts of the car that will always remain mysterious so that other teams can't spy on them. But just tell us what areas you've been looking at as opportunities, if you like, to gain a competitive advantage.
I mean, the reality is that the biggest change is the aerodynamic rule change. And so it's about trying to understand what that means to us. What changes in the flow features, how can we recover that? How can we produce the best car we possibly can in that world? And when you do that, you're then looking for every other opportunity you can get. You're looking at how you can package things so that we can get that aerodynamic performance that we want. And that's a massive team effort. And it takes a lot of group working, a lot of concept development, and then a lot of how do we turn that into something that we can actually make, something that's going to work and something that's going to survive on the track. And that's not only within the site at Brackley, but that's also working with our colleagues at Brixworth, working together to try and produce something that we've got in front of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, now talking about your colleagues at Brixworth, Howell, this year we're seeing the biggest changes to the power unit since the new formula was introduced in 2014. So can you tell us a little bit what we can expect from the power unit this season?
Yeah, I mean, look, if we've done a really good job, what you should expect from the power unit is not to see very much of it.
Yeah, not to know anything about it.
Nothing about it.
No issues.
No. What we strive to do is to have a really easy, quiet race weekend, so that all the guys that do the setup work, the guys driving the cars, they can concentrate on getting the car to work. The power unit's just quiet, and it does what it's meant to do when it's meant to do it. What we're looking to have is the power unit and the chassis working together really harmoniously so that the drivers and the whole team get that opportunity to compete for race wins.
And quick question to you, Mike. We're talking about that harmony there. We're also talking about a very high rate of development, which often happens with new regulations. And the drivers have touched on it already. It's just going to be flat out all year, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, that's how we want it. This is a massive challenge that we've faced. We started from a brand new set of rules. We were given the shape of the car to start with. Nothing's copied over from last year. And that's a big challenge. We're doing it in a world where we've got far less around us in terms of cost cap, in terms of aero testing restrictions. But, that's what we want as engineers. That's the challenge we want. And it will keep developing through the season, and it will be a proper fight with the opposition.
Which you are ready for, no doubt.
We can't wait. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, Hal, your partners at Petronas provide the fuel and the lubricants for all 8 Mercedes power units on the grid. Can you tell us a little bit about how the sustainable content of the fuel this year has potentially created new challenges?
Yeah, for sure. So, as you said, there's a change in the regulations. So it's an E10 fuel. So 10% of the fuel will be ethanol and from sustainable stock as well. So, a small step on the way to where we need to get to. And that's changed the way that the fuel works in the engine. It's changed the combustion. And we've had to do a lot of work on the engine and, of course, with our colleagues and the team at Petronas in order to make the engine and the fuel work together again in the way it didn't quite when we got that 10% fuel ethanol into the fuel.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you both very much indeed, Mike, Hal. Been fascinating. Great stuff. And good luck for the season. Get some sleep at some point. Promise us. OK, now we've heard from the drivers, our technical engine bosses on the car. So now we probably have to ask the boss back up there to see what he makes of this beauty. Toto Wolff, please come back and join us. So we asked Lewis a bit earlier, Toto, whether he still gets excited. Do you share that enthusiasm, or is it a bit nerve-wracking?
No, I absolutely share Lewis's enthusiasm when you see the ready product here. When people think about a Formula One team, they see all of us on track, the 100-odd people that we are. But as I said before, there's more than 2,000 that have been working on the power unit and the car, and this is their creativity and their grit and their skill coming together. And we've had, that's a little bit of an insight, situations where we had to tell people not to work too many hours, because when you go towards 100 hours a week, this is where you need to stop. But so much sweat and tears have gone into this car, and here it is, and now we just need to make it drive fast.
Thankfully, no blood, though. I'm glad you jumped over that one.
Yeah, I left the blood out because we're not into bleeding.
Excellent stuff. Now, George has touched on the fact that it's not representative conditions today, but what do you hope to gain from the shakedown? What are you looking out for?
I think, as the word shakedown says, it's just shaking it and see whether it holds together. Silverstone, generally in February, is not the greatest place to drive racing cars. I remember the temperatures are actually quite good today. We had -degrees here already, and it's anyway raining only in the UK, so we have rain. It's representative. And yeah, we see that if just everything runs smoothly, all the sensors tell us the right data.
Well, Toto, we saw an incredible championship battle last year. Social media is booming. Netflix is bringing new audiences to F1, and TV audiences are growing. So would you say F1 is in the best shape it's ever been?
Yes, it is. And I spoke to someone, I asked someone in the paddock who has been in Formula One for more than 30 years and a clever person, last year, what do you think of Formula One? Is it the best ever you have seen? And he has had the Senna years and the Schumacher years and all of that, and he said it's the best ever. And that's quite amazing. Our audiences go through the roof, thankfully. We had the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was the second most viewed sporting event of the year after the Euro finals. And we had 108 million viewers compared to 101, I guess it was, for the Super Bowl.
Yes, great stat, isn't it?
It's great stuff. And by the way, you guys are contributing a lot, also with the show you provide and the content. And therefore, yeah, I feel very excited that we have this opportunity and that we are living in these great times of Formula One.
It's a genuine privilege. Finally, just a few last words to the fans and the team and everybody watching today from you, please.
Yeah, so I'm happy that we can finally present you the car as it stands here. Like I said before, there's so much work that has gone into it. And wherever we are in terms of performance, we will be working hard to be fighting for race victories and hopefully be in a position to have the chance to go for a championship. But there is no sense of entitlement here. And last but not least, it's super to see all the stuff around here. You can't see them, but there is a huge amount of everybody involved in the launch today. The juniors that really make my heart smile when I see them. Yeah, big applause to all of you who have been supporting the launch and doing that car. And I hope everybody, the spectators who follows us online, you like the car because I do.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Thank you, Toto. You are a great leader indeed. Enjoy the season.
Thank you.
Well, that's all from Mercedes-AMG for now, but George and Lewis will be taking this beautiful machine out onto the track a little later today, and we'll be sharing that with you across the Mercedes-AMG F1 social media channels, so make sure you follow us there. And from Naomi and I, it's goodbye. Goodbye.